What's up, Cloud Gamers? Welcome back to the Cloud Gaming Extreme channel. I have been waiting a long time for Boosteroid to come to the USA, and I know a lot of you have too, and that moment is finally coming. We've got a soft launch happening right now with some data centers opening up. If you go in and check your connection with Boosteroid here in the USA, you'll probably notice a big difference in your bandwidth and your latency especially. If Boosteroid is something you're interested in signing up for, it's super easy to go over to their website and do. We have a link in the description below. It'll help support the channel if you use that to go sign up and get into Boosteroid. Now, I'm already logged into my account over here, so we can take a quick look at a couple of things on the website before we jump in and take a look at some games that I checked out. Now, you'll see here they have a new section for install, which is a way for you to be able to install other games. Now, you have their library as well, which you can scroll through and has a ton of supported games on Boosteroid. But there's some games that don't work that way that you kind of need to install yourself. And there's a list of those right here. They show up in blue if they're added to my library, and you go through a little install process with those that I will show you as well when we get into launching the games here in just a little bit with the video. But I want to give you a quick overview here of what is available when it comes to Boosteroid. So you can see all the games listed out here as you want to. And if you go in and check your connection now, which this used to be really bad for me, now, as of today, I'm getting 800 on my bandwidth here and 33 on my latency. This used to be more like 19 on my bandwidth and like anywhere from 90 to 140, sometimes worse on my latency. Obviously, Boosteroid wasn't something I could use here on the East Coast US, but now it is. And I'm going to switch over to the app for the rest of the video because that's what we're going to be launching the games in and using. And you can see it has all the same features here with your My Games, your library, your install section. You can check your connection, go into your account. I just always prefer the app experience over browser, so that's where we're going to continue on here. Now we're going to launch into Elden Ring first. This is one of those games that you do have to install. So I clicked on install and play, and this will go ahead and launch us up into a little game installation part here. And this will happen each time that you need to do this or you get into a play and install game. But it goes really quickly. You just accept that, and then it's going to do a very quick file download here and game install, and it takes less than 30 seconds to get you ready to go for your game, and then it's going to launch up Steam for Elden Ring. Now in my library here, sometimes games will automatically launch and sometimes they won't, especially if I get this little cloud error where it didn't sync properly. So what I'm going to do for that is I'll be able to just click on that and tell it to retry or resync. That'll work almost every time. There you go. And then you'll see Elden Ring goes to 100% here, and now it's ready to go. You'll probably have to click play yourself, but that means we can now go ahead and launch Elden Ring. It's a little bit of work to get through that process, but it's not a big deal. It only takes a minute or two to go through this, and then you'll be able to play the game here in the cloud with Boosteroid, which is a great option. It's not a game you can play everywhere in the cloud. Now, really quickly, I won't do this for each game, but the settings they default to here are 1080p because we are 1080p 60 on the stream, and high quality on the settings, which I would probably go in and adjust those a little bit. I don't know that I would run it that high, but anyways, we'll get in here to Elden Ring, which is notorious for running a little bit rough, having a lower frame rate, especially on VMs. But I was fairly pleasantly surprised that we do hold a decent enough playable FPS at this high setting. And the more important thing for me here is latency, which you'll hear me talk about in all three games we're looking at. Latency now feels very good and spot on. I'm just using my Xbox Series X controller here, Bluetooth to my PC, and then streaming Boosteroid here through the Boosteroid app. And really, everything just feels very nice when it comes to latency. I have no complaints. We do have a lot of pixelation and blockiness in all three games that I'll talk about more, and I would love to see improved, especially after the soft launch. But everything stays really good as far as playable here. Now let's move over to GTA 5. Now, when it comes to GTA 5, again, latency, Bluetooth controller, no problem. The game's very playable, and the game itself is running just fine, and you can tweak your settings and do what you want to there. We're not going to get into all that in this type of video, but it's definitely the dirtiest when it came to the picture out of these three particular games. The bitrate's not very high on this game. There's a lot more pixelation and blockiness, but again, it's important to state that this is a soft launch. Not even all the data centers are up yet, but it's exciting to see that the service is becoming usable here in the US. And I'm sure they're going to continue to improve it. But lack of stutters in the games and good latency makes them playable, especially if you can deal with the blockiness of the image, the faster and the more motion you have on screen. But anyways, GTA 5, very playable. Again, if you don't have issues with the blockiness, you'll be fine. Latency is good, doesn't seem to stutter a lot. Let's go ahead and move over and take a look at Rogue Company. Alright, Rogue Company is a game that I still really enjoy playing, and it's fun to test in the cloud because it's a game you want great latency on, and I'm happy to say that Just like the other two games, Rogue Company's great when it came to my input latency. Almost no stutters, maybe a few here and there compared to the other games, but it was really good. I was able to go into combat fairly confident, knock people down, finish them off, do what I need to do. I really didn't have any complaints. Again, picture quality is where I want Boosteroid to make the most improvements. Again, this is just a soft launch. It's important to note that this isn't all the data centers open yet. They're just getting things rolling out here, and it's exciting to see Boosteroid become available and usable in the USA, and it might be a great option for a lot of people. So to wrap it up pretty much with these three games, I just want to see better picture quality down the road. Latency feels great though, and as far as skips and stutters in the games, there weren't too many to complain about right now either. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on this as we get through the soft launch, as they open the rest of the data centers, and we'll make some more videos and be checking out Boosteroid. Don't forget, again, there's that link in the description below if you're wanting to sign up and check out Boosteroid and support the channel. We really appreciate it. If you guys haven't already, subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell, leave your comments, and we really appreciate you coming to watch. We'll see you in the next one.